week in gaming, the Demon Lord Bobby Kotick returns, more anti-worker wins, and ding dong, the witch is dead. This is the NerdCave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined by my good friend and co-host, Derek Daniel. Derek, how's it going, my man?
It's going pretty well, man. Another week. I wish, the news that we're discussing tonight would have been better than last week's, but sadly, I think it got worse. a lot of negative. Well, we went in. I think we discussed about being more positive and hoping more positivity in the gaming industry, and so far we strike it out so far 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, and that's why this episode's called "Is Gaming Dying?"
Right.
Which is kind of crazy coming off of 2025 and all the great games.
It was like a bunch of games, like an indie game winning game of the year. So, but next week, hopefully we'll be on more positive news, because next week we are getting the Xbox Developer Direct. And you can already tell when I saw this, I'm like, I already know what the thumbnail is going to be for next week or that week, because it's going to be some really solid games that we're going to see, but we'll get more into that later, Zach. So right now we got to talk about what we're playing now.
What you've been playing is our favorite segment, and guys, let us know what you've been playing down in the comments below, and welcome everybody to the stream. Derek, I'll let you start off. What you been playing, bro?
I've been playing a lot of Expedition 33. Like, I'm in Act 2 already. All my characters are level in like mid-20s now. A lot of stuff has happened plot wise. Like, obviously they get a nightmare that involves Mael, and some things are occurred. I'm not going to spoil it, because if you're like me, after one game of the year, you're trying to see what all the hubbub is about. So I'm going to keep it as spoiler free as possible. There was a character death in my party, and I got a new member. The way the fight scene went down, and like, mostly it's an anime, but also video games too. It's like when you've played and watched as much as we have, you get numb to when a character death happens, because it's like such bait and switch where they come back later or find a loophole out of it. And when it's stuck, and there was even a fight sequence where I'm like, oh, I get a chance to keep them alive. And then I was doing like tons of damage, and it was like not even moving the health bar of the boss. I was like, oh dear, nah, this is the final sequence. This is not good. Danger, Will Robinson. And then it was just basically window dressing, because then the next cutscene happened, and then they actually murked the character, and I was like, oh, this is gonna stick. And then you have the burial scene, which was emotional in of itself, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna stick. But then it's funny, because the character that replaces them kind of has some of the same move set as the previous character, so it's but it's different. It's almost like they're like the true like commando or whatever, so or like a true like soldier class. I don't know. Well, I'd like to see how it plays out, but there were so many answers that got, or there were so many questions that got answered from the beginning of when you first hit the island. But now more questions arise. It's like, okay, why is this occurring? Like, why do they get the special treatment? Like, I'm not going to go. I wish I could go into more detail, but I'm not going to. But yeah, it's really good. And they keep it. I finally understand the Lumina system. Like, playing around with it a little bit more. It's like once you level up your Pictos, like fully unlock it, even if you find a better one, you can use Lumina points to still unlock that fully leveled up Pictos. You can still unlock their abilities, so you can just stack abilities, keep stacking, and the more you level up, the more Lumina you get, so you can add more abilities. And I just see stuff stacking up left and right. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. I'm gonna have like a broke party after a while.
Well, and then the enemies just get more broken.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I did face the next chromatic boss. That thing is because it took me a good like 20 minutes to beat it, because it's because I finally had the rhythm, because it was one of those the flying water, like one of those like with the size with like the red mane.
Yep.
But it had fire abilities, and what I didn't know is like I doing all this damage, and then it's like if it hits you with its like big attack, it creates fire damage for a few turns, and then it takes the fire status effect back, and it creates healing, and it heals itself.
Oh wow!
And I'm like all the damage I had done, it just re-healed. I'm like, this is bullcrap. And I couldn't get the timing down, and then I finally got it down, and then I just started going to town, whittling down its health. I'm like, thank God. So, but it's crazy, how like because they introduced the new once you got that new party member to replace the one that got murked.
Yeah,
Introduced a new like counter system or like a new counter attack, like the chromatic count, or was it forget what it is, but it's like the enemies glow a certain tint, and you have such a window to like counter it, and it does like major like damage. It's almost like a reflect.
okay.
It does major counter damage to that enemy if you time it right. And I'm like, okay, I can get down with this. So I've gotten through like several areas. It's just the game just keeps finding, and like there's new enemies like it was like the Forgotten Battlefield, and those enemies feel like a lot like Dark Souls, because especially some of the bosses that you find to start having 2 stages, especially one like it felt like straight out of Dark Souls because it had a light sword, and I was almost winning, and then a cutscene happened. I'm like, oh, here's stage 2. It pulls out a dark blade, and it starts doing like faster combos and like twin sword attacks, and I'm like, get this garbage out of here. I'm tired. I didn't download Dark Souls. I downloaded Expedition 33. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
So I feel that with how the end of Yote was.
Oh,
that
yeah.
final fight. I was like, oh my God. Like I finally got it where I was like, okay, beat him. And it was like, oh, now you're ready for the katana. I was like, no. No. Oh man. But I'm glad that you're enjoying Expedition 33. And do you feel like the story is really stacking up to be like that game of the year that everybody was touting? Do you feel like the gravitas is there?
I do, just because of so much of the intrigue. Like there's so much like you're just thrown into it like right before the next homage happens, and then you're just trying to figure out, piece stuff together, and just figure out what this world is like. And I do feel like it does pace itself to where it does answer those questions. But again, once it answers those questions, it raises more, and it just keeps the drive to keep wanting to know more is what's keeping me going. And I do feel like it is justified. I mean, I feel like it was just the combat alone. I feel like it would still be somewhat justified for the nomination. I don't know if the combat would be enough to win it Game of the Year, but the story definitely I feel like is worth the nominate or the awards it's gotten so far.
Okay, well that's on my list because I'll get into mine here in a second what I've been playing, but my goal is to start potentially next Tuesday playing on Expedition 33. So I'm excited for that.
Where did you leave off, if you don't mind me asking?
Where did I leave off?
What up, Mike?
Where did I leave off? I got we were in the little paintbrush men. I can't remember what they're called. Like
the Jestrels.
Yeah, the Jestrels. I was done with their village, and then I was going out of it.
By the way, that because I've been through that part too. Like the way they just are all about fighting and all about like winning. I'm just like, Goku would be their god.
Oh yeah.
Like, cause he's just like, I love to fight. You look strong. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they would love each other. Like they are definitely they feel very Saiyan, like not necessarily super strong all the time, but they do have like it's a very interesting society, and the arena was cool and how they introduced some things in that with I won't give any spoilers away because I do want to play it on stream. Amy says we got that Animal Crossing update.
Yeah.
I know she's excited for that, and a lot of people are playing it. I saw Kind of Funny playing. Joey and Greg were playing Animal Crossing today on stream, so that's awesome.
So in other words, if you don't see your wife for a few days, mind your business.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think I got games to play. She's got her game to play. We'll be good. I'm
right
just like
she's starting to watch JJK too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not one of the animes that you can like play games and just like listen. You gotta lock in on that bad boy.
Too much happens in certain episodes. So
yeah. Bane says for Forza Horizon 5. Let's go. Joe says, haven't played much besides the game my wife and I are making and testing. That's dope.
Nice.
That's dope. So for me and everybody else, let us know what you've been playing. Tuesday night, rolled credits on Ghost of Yote.
Whoop, whoop.
And man, that game is phenomenal. Of course, it was our game of the year for 2025. The story was amazing. I think the way that it wrapped up, and I had a feeling that we were going to lose one of the two characters. I felt like
was like, not again.
Yeah. That's just how I felt. Going into that last act, it was like, oh, we're going to lose somebody or both. I thought the fortress was a cool like set piece going through it and everything. It didn't like, it was a little challenging in some places just because of the sheer number of people, like when you like ride the horses and then like you hit the water and then there's just a ton of them. Thankfully, I donned my bow and arrow armor and just locked in, just 2, 3 at a time, 3 at a time. So having that was nice. But taking on the spider, I thought was a cool. It was annoying. I feel like he was one of the harder enemies actually to fight, even though he felt disgraced and all of that. Just being able to like him using spear and katana and then guns, like he was a little bit more, full package than to fight Saito later on, where he literally was doing everything and then like whipping out the Odachi. I was like, okay, I was not expecting the Odachi out here.
Like, you have yet to fight an enemy with the boss with an Odachi, and then he's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll be your one and only.
Well, I want to say the Oni was kind of like the Odachi.
Kind of.
It wasn't, but it felt more like
it was
just
an Odachi on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. So, but man, just the way that last, and I agree with your summation of everything, that acts 2 and 3 were definitely rushed. It felt like it was just kind of just, all right, we got to get to the end of this.
Yep.
And that's okay in a sense, like, because act 1, it's like any kind of book. The beginning of a book is going to take time because you've got to build the world. You got to build all the characters up, the motivations of everybody involved, what they want. And then you can kind of, things do start to speed up as you go. But I do feel like act 3 was even shorter than act 3 of Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, at least you unlocked a whole new region in Ghost Tsushima, like in act 3, whereas this one is like, all right, you've already, because pretty much by the time you get to act 2, you've already unlocked the last region, and then it's like you have nothing. But again, and again, I say it almost feels like the game just expected you just to blow through the story, and then it's like, all right, now let's go do everything in the world. It's like, no, that's not how this is. That's not what we do. The yellow bird distracts us, and we go do it.
Exactly. But overall, I think the game is great. I don't know if you want to eventually do like a spoiler cast or whatever. It's kind of an older game at this point, which kind of feels weird. But man, I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm looking forward to, I don't know if I'll platinum it, but I definitely will be playing more of it on my own. Because for the people that were on Tuesday, they saw me roll credits. And then after I get off, I like finish the credits, and then it shows Kiku and Atsu talking. Atsu, there we go. I don't know where Atsu came from. And she was like, was that everything? And it's like, well, no, not really. And then it gives you like a few different options to pick from.
Right.
And I picked monsters and myths, or myths and monsters. And it like loads in, it's like 6 months before, and I'm on some story. I don't even know what it is. I didn't play anymore on that, but I'm excited to see what more can I get out of the story and everything. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Now, do you think the ending was like, obviously not getting into spoilers, do you think the ending was as satisfying as Tsushima? I know it's like apples to oranges. It's a 300-year gap timeline wise, but did you feel like Atsu's story had like like, you know, this is not a spoiler. I mean, you defeat Lord Saito, obviously,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like finishing the head of the Yote Six was as satisfying as defeating Kodokan Khan, and then like the epilogue to Tsushima.
I felt like it was as satisfying as just defeating the Khan.
Mhm.
I don't actually like the epilogue of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I
You know what
forgot
I
we.
mean? I
Yeah,
I never really enjoyed like that part of it. It was like being forced to make a choice because of someone's pride, and it's like you're forcing me to, to do this type
yeah,
deal. But I think it ended well, and Atsu's character development I think was way better than Jin's when you really look at it.
yeah.
Because Jin, it was just like I got to do this to be able to save my people, which is great. But it's just kind of one tone the whole way, where she had to develop and realize it's like I've got to live for the living. I'm not
Right.
living for the dead anymore. I have people here that care about me, that want me to live, and that's who I need to live for now. And
Well,
I think,
and I was gonna say she didn't think she had anybody left.
yeah,
When she came back to start her revenge tour.
yeah, and her having to realize it's like these people are more important when she makes the decision to take on the dragon and everything. It puts a lot of that into, you know, perspective after that fight. It's like, oh, I messed up. My revenge has put my whole entire family
Yep.
in jeopardy.
Yep.
The found family that she has, and then her actual blood family and everything. So, man, great game. I can't wait to, maybe we'll get some DLC like we did Iki Island. I'm not sure, but a Legends, I think is coming out this year.
Yeah, Legends is this year for sure.
So excited for that. I know I'm going to play it. Derek, I'm going to wrangle you and we're going to play it together. Okay. We're going to play it together.
Sure, sure.
You,
Uh,
y'all see what I got to deal with here? See what I got to deal with? It's like dealing with Bobby Kotick, okay?
oh
Like
god.
like dealing with Bobby Kotick. Speaking of Bobby Kotick, like a wart on your nose, Bobby Kotick just doesn't seem to go away. And this is not the title, but this article is by Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Derek got creative on their titles tonight.
Yeah, I did. So, former Activision boss Bobby Kotick has made a number of claims about the state of his former company, Call of Duty, and the console market as part of a response to a lawsuit. Kotick, who left Activision Blizzard at the end of 2023, having sold the company to Xbox market maker Microsoft for 69 billion with a B, is battling investors who claim he rigged the sale to keep his job and 400 million in change of control benefits, and to insulate himself from claims he knew about widespread sexual harassment at Activision. Kotick has denied any wrongdoing. The investors are led by Swedish pension fund AP Fonden, or AP7. They have accused Kotick of rushing into the Microsoft merger and contend the $95 per share takeover price was too low from the outset. AP7 names Kotick, Activision Blizzard, and its owner Microsoft as defendants. Kotick issued his response to the allegations. In it, he accuses Swedish game company Embracer, which owns the rights to the likes of Tomb Raider, Dead Island, and Lord of the Rings, of being involved with the lawsuit and benefiting from it, something the company has denied. Part of Kotick's defense uses the declining financial performances of Activision Blizzard, Call of Duty, and the console market in recent years to back up his claim that selling to Microsoft at $95 a share was the right thing to do at that time. Quote, today, given that console sales are at an all-time low and Call of Duty sales are off over 60% from the prior year, plaintiffs should be expressing extreme gratitude for the foresight Activision leadership demonstrated in consummating this transaction. As GameFile points out, Kotick failed to provide evidence of its 60% sales decline claim and neither Microsoft nor Activision have announced a sales figure for Black Ops 7 yet. But what we do know is Black Ops 7 has struggled in sales terms compared to Black Ops 6, a fact that's reflected in everything from European sales figures to Activision's own admissions. Circana has reported that November full game dollar sales of Call of Duty Black Ops 7 finished below those of Black Ops 6 last November, with Black Ops 6 launching in October 2024 tracking period. Of course, none of this takes into account the Game Pass effect. Call of Duty now launches day one on Game Pass, but a 60% sales decline is an enormous drop-off even with Game Pass considered. IGN has asked Activision for comment. There is data to back up Kotick's claim about consoles. In November of last year was a shockingly terrible month for video game sales in the US. Indeed, it was the worst November in video game hardware unit sales and the worst in physical software dollar sales the US has seen since 1995. Hardware spending was down a whopping 27% year over year to $695 million, the lowest hardware spending total for November since 2005's $455 million. And that's representative of declines across the board. Xbox Series hardware sales were down 70% year over year. PS5 sales were down 40%, and combined unit sales of Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 were down over 10% from Switch sales last year, despite this being a launch year for the Switch 2. Kotick repeated his 60% claim elsewhere in his response, where he took a shot at the U.S. Federal Trade Commission's attempt to block Microsoft and Activision Blizzard's buyout. Part of the FTC's argument was that Microsoft owning Call of Duty would give it an unfair advantage in the gaming market, but Kotick insists that the struggles of Call of Duty in the face of stiff competition from the likes of Battlefield show that not to be the case. Quote, the company's actual performance since January of 2022 is telling, uniformly missing the long-range plan's target metrics, which should come as no surprise, given that the company historically missed nearly all of the ambitious targets set forth in its long-range plans, a fact known well to the board and when the deal was negotiated. Kotick's response reads, all told, had the deal not gone through, this would have been likely resulted in a substantially lower stock price, as is easily established by Activision's financial performance post-closing, which has been far below the ambitious target contained in the plans. Call of Duty is on track to perform over 60% below last year because of intense competition from titles like Battlefield, destroying the FTC's now defeated argument about Call of Duty's purported monopoly and the lack of competition in the first-party action game category. So, Zach, I know a broken clock can be right twice a day, but at the same time, it's who says it, not what is said sometimes. And while he may have had a bunch of, he may have made a good point, and like Call of Duty has gone down, and like he makes a good point about despite it being on Game Pass, like 60% sales decline is a massive markdown compared to what Black Ops 6 did. And we know we always talk about how Call of Duty sales never reached the sales pinnacle of the one that came before it the previous year, but still a 60% decrease is a huge decline compared to what it normally does. And now to the console part of it, like, yes, sales were down, but look how much, like, the price of the Xbox went up like twice in a span of like 3 months. PlayStation went up, Switch 1 went up, Switch 2 prices haven't gone up yet, but with all these RAM increases, it's inevitable that it's probably going to go up. But Zach, what do you make of this? Like, does he have a point, or is he just pretty much riding the coattails of, like, just because, like, by that I mean he has a point, but it's only because of inflation and tariffs and all this that it's increased. So is it like is he wrong by default just because of how he lucked into this argument?
I don't think that he's wrong.
Yeah.
And the reason why is they've ran the franchise into the ground.
Yep.
And that is why the franchise doesn't do as well as it used to. Like, I remember waiting in line at GameStop, which we'll talk about them in a little bit, for Modern Warfare 2 and all of those games. Like, I was super excited for Black Ops 1. They just continually churn out the same crap year after year. And it's less and less exciting every time they announce something. And you're going to see a decline in people caring about it. You see it with Star Wars, you see it with Marvel. People
Yep.
don't care about these things because we're inundated with them.
Yep.
Now you look on the flip side, Battlefield has done really well. Battlefield 6 did really well last year in sales because they had a really bad 2042, you know?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they took a few years off, really fixed the game, and then put it out there. There's been no break with Call of Duty, and I don't know any year we haven't had a Call of Duty in a very, very long time. And then you also look at Assassin's Creed. We got fatigue with it, Unity, and then Syndicate, and then they were like, okay, we're going to take a year or two off and then come back with Origins, and people were excited again. Call of Duty just doesn't have the oomph that it used to, because you throw a stick and you hit a Call of Duty game. You throw a stick and you're going to have, some kind of ghost or whatever version of it out there. And yes, the consoles, I like that you brought up, like the console price has gone up. Yes, that's going to make the amount of sales go down. Plus, the consoles have been out for a while now, and a lot of people already have them. And Switch 2 did sell really well when it came out. So it's like, okay, we're at a point where the people that want these consoles most likely have them.
Correct.
Or they're getting them secondhand off of eBay, Facebook Marketplace, all of these other places, because they don't want to pay the full
$800
price. Yeah, go to Costco. I'm just telling y'all, Costco right now, you can get it a PlayStation way cheaper than you can on like any other place. Anyway, I'm going down the rabbit hole of Costco. Does that mean that Call of Duty has went down 60%? No, I don't think. I think his numbers are off.
Yeah.
I don't see that. Xbox has been panicking. Microsoft has been panicking. But if it was down that much, there would be a lot more rumblings going on. There would be heads rolling if Call of Duty was down that much. And
there would be leadership changes.
Heads would be rolling. Like there would be a lot of people. I think, if that was happening, Phil would be looking for another job or retiring.
He's like, well, guys, it's been a good run, but I think I'm going to take a step back.
I'm being, it's a serious thing, because it's like you spend 69 billion with a B dollars for this franchise. You're getting all these other things, but you're essentially buying it for Call of Duty and WoW. And then you drop to 60% by, 3 years in. And it's like, okay, because it's on Game Pass, that doesn't equal because the Game Pass growth doesn't equal the amount of loss and everything.
Correct.
I don't think he's 100% right. I think his numbers are skewed. He's also a weasel, and we've seen that time and time again, that he will somehow weasel his way out of this, and he'll be safe again, because dude hit a lot of stuff, sold the company for $69 billion, then was, safe away with his golden parachute for when he retired. So
you hate to see it, but I have a feeling this is not the last we're going to hear Bobby Kotick, but hopefully it's the last for a long while. Because when I saw this come up, I was like, why is he in the news again? Like, why is he in an IGN article? And I read it and I was like, oh, so he's trying to gloat that, I saw the writing on the wall, I'm a smart businessman. It's like, get out of here. You're also a scumbag.
He's a shrewd businessman. I will give him that, but he's not a good person.
No.
But, it's interesting that this lawsuit is Bobby Kotick, Xbox, Activision. Well, Microsoft, Activision. So I don't know if that is going to be all of them are being represented together, or if it's, because it's not going, it's a lawsuit. It's not necessarily a criminal thing. It's not being tried by like a criminal court where they would go individually. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but if there's any validity to it, they will settle. But if there's not, that'll be another drawn out thing that we'll probably cover a bajillion times on the show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which
But
everybody loves those.
I know everyone. That's why y'all are here.
Yeah. And I love that he was just like he was poking the bear of the FTC. He's like, oh yeah, see, y'all don't know your butt from a hole in the ground.
Neither do you. Like
well, we go from one bad egg to the next. Rockstar stands on their course of action of being jerks. This is by Wesley Yinpool at IGN.
Strap in, it's another long one. An employment tribunal has today rejected an application for interim relief filed on behalf of the fired GTA 6 developers at Rockstar Games. The Glasgow Employment Tribunal released the outcome of the hearing today, rejecting all applications for interim relief. Quote, "We welcome the decision, which is consistent with Rockstar's position throughout," a Rockstar Games spokesperson told IGN. "We regret that we were put in a position where dismissals were necessary, but we stand by our course of action as supposed by the outcome of this hearing." Rockstar has insisted the employees it fired late last year were dismissed because they leaked game features for upcoming and unannounced titles in Discord, not because they were trying to unionize. No, not at all. The Independent Workers Union of Great Britain, or the IWGB, which has accused Rockstar of union busting, asked a judge to grant the fired GTA 6 developers interim relief at a preliminary employment tribunal hearing held in the UK last week. Interim relief is a legal mechanism that can provide workers with support while they wait for a full hearing. If the interim relief has been granted, the workers would have been put back on Rockstar's payroll and had their work visas reinstated where necessary. In the ruling, Judge Eccles said that of the approximately 350 members of the IWGB Discord, over half were members of the IWGB, but some were no longer employed by Rockstar Games. One member was said to have written press articles about video games, including at least one that commented on Rockstar and the development of GTA. Judge Eccles added that because Rockstar dismissed 3 employees in Canada who were not members of the union, their union membership could not have been a factor in their dismissal. According to information provided to IGN by a Rockstar Games spokesperson, the ruling indicates that Judge Eccles believed that the IWGB is not, quote, likely to show that union activity or membership was the reason for their dismissal. Rockstar has also denied having a blacklist of union members, stressing that at the time of the dismissals, the company did not know whether the claimants were union members, so they could not have targeted them. Rockstar employees themselves raised concerns to the company and granted representatives across to the social channel, not the Discord channel used for official union organizing. As IGN has also reported, Rockstar has claimed that the union channel mods didn't know who was in the channel and that it posed a leak risk. As for the alleged leaked information, Rockstar believes it to be significant and related to game features around GTA 6. This includes specific game features, comments on the overall progress of GTA 6 development, timelines to launch, and company IT security protocols. Rockstar believes that if the company comments in question had leaked, they would have been big gaming news and might have even affected Take-Two's share price. And Rockstar has pointed to its well-established zero-tolerance approach to leaks, highlighting that it dismissed a Rockstar employee in Lincoln, UK, in April of last year, who had disclosed confidential information about GTA 6 to a third party who published the information to social media, and dismissed an employee in the US in November of 2023 and another in India in November of last year for 2 separate acts of information leaking. The IWGB issued IGN with a lengthy statement in response to the ruling. It says, "The judge's decision that Rockstar will not be forced into providing emergency support to our members whilst they await trial is disappointing, but does nothing to dampen our hopes of winning justice when the full hearing takes place. In fact, we are emerging from this hearing having now had a glimpse of Rockstar's flimsy grounds for defense, feeling bolstered in our claims that these firings were not just deeply unjust, but also plainly unlawful." The judge stated in her ruling that There was no evidence of the respondent having suffered any adverse consequences as a result of these postings. It was also highlighted in the ruling that many procedural guidelines were broken in the process of firing these employees, including there being no disciplinary meetings, no chances for appeal until 6 weeks later, and no evidence of an investigation. Comments relied on by Rockstar's lawyers were obtained without the knowledge of employees using Discord, described by the claimants as covert monitoring. The fact of the matter remains shocking, such as how Rockstar management have now admitted to covertly monitoring their employees on this private Discord by impersonating a member of staff. Rather than focusing their case on evidence that Rockstar acted fairly and reasonably in their decision to fire 31 people on the spot, the argument resided largely on legal technicalities, with Rockstar's lawyers declaring that it doesn't matter if the dismissals were unfair, or if the leadership that dismissed them acted with malice. Quote, such an approach is wholly in keeping with what we already know of Rockstar's utter disregard for the people whose creativity and hard work deliver its billions. The ruling comes after UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer called the case, quote, deeply concerning and pledged that ministers would investigate. The layoffs were raised by Rockstar North's local MP Chris Murray in the UK's Parliament during a session of Prime Minister's questions that took place late last year. Quote, the video game company Rockstar in my constant constituency last month fired 31 employees without providing evidence or union representation, Murray told the Prime Minister. The IWGB alleges union busting. Having met Rockstar, they failed to reassure me that they are following employment law, and I share concerns about union busting. Every worker has the right to join a trade union, and we're determined to strengthen workers' rights and ensure they don't face unfair consequences for being part of a union. Our ministers will look into the particular case that Murray raises, and will keep him updated. Zach, that's a lot of legal technicalities,
yep.
And it just shows that corporation will go to any lengths to not pay employees, even if they're unjustly let go.
They'll pay lawyers so they don't have to pay employees.
Correct. It's capitalism. We love to see it.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't want to say it's another like L in the column for unions, but it's another L in the column for employees' rights just in general. Like, obviously, like, whether they knew people like in a union were in the chat, and whether the former Rockstar employees were there to talk anything GTA 6 is TBD. More info will come out as the months go by, but the bare bones of this is they do bring up a good point. It's like they were just let go like that. Like, there was no trial. There was no there was no sit down. It's like, hey guys, like, we saw you were in this chat, like, with unions, and like there was potential, like, you could be talking about unionizing. We don't know, but we also know that you could potentially leak secrets about GTA 6. I'm like, you didn't know that you didn't think we were talking about unions, but you also thought we were leaking secrets. Make it make sense. I don't know. Zach, what do you make of all this?
I have hope here because the Prime Minister and the lords that are around him are actually taking this seriously.
Yeah.
That right there tells me that this is not going to just be swept under the rug with trial stuff. Like, if this might go through the trial and Rockstar wins, but I think that Rockstar will have to pay some heavy fines or something on top of that, because the government is getting involved, not just a judge ruling on a case, which I think is good, because the government is there to protect its people, not the other way around. And I'm glad that that's happening. Hearing IWGB talking about, the flimsy case that's there, I think that is a good indicator, but this is also giving time to Rockstar to shore up its, fort. Yeah. And getting ready for the war of attrition that's going to be happening. And they have the money to get any kind of legal team that they want. They could literally hire OJ Simpson's legal team or whatever, whoever they wanted, you know, like they could get Johnny Depp's team together or whatever it is, which they were over in London as well. But to say all of this, I hope that we see a win for the workers on this. This has been going on like 6 months now, something like that. And we even heard some of rumblings before that. So this is going to take probably another year to 2 years before this is resolved. I hate that these, you know, former employees are not going to get compensation while they wait. Hopefully they'll be able to find positions elsewhere within the industry pretty quickly and to be able to put food on the table. And hopefully, you know, I'm sure there's some place to support them or whatever, you know, with the legal battle, because that costs money, you know. And I know
especially now that they're not going to get compensation, you know, for while this is going on.
But it's like, you know, you do pay union dues to be able to be represented and everything, but eventually they're like the rubber meets the road. And if they win, then yes, the union is going to get some of that and everything. So Bane says, better call Saul.
You know, when I thought about that, I was thinking about Suits. You know what I mean?
Man, if Harvey was on the case, whoo, boy, I'd be feeling pretty good. I'd be feeling pretty good right now if Harvey's on the case. Guys, y'all need to go watch Suits. It's so good. I've got Suits LA on the docket this year to watch the one season that they got to do with Stephen Amell.
Yeah, my boy.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah, hopefully we'll see something good come out of this and a W for workers and not another corporation sticking it to its employees. And you know, I like the part that they said, let me go back up here where it was like the creativity. Where was that? Disregard for the people whose creativity and hard work deliver its billions. It's like, you know, you can screw over people so many times, but eventually people are going to stop working there. You know, and then you're not going to have another GTA.
Nope.
You know,
and that's sad. Like I just need a win for, like, in the last couple of years we talked about so many layoffs and studio closures. I need a win for employees at some point. Just a win, like, and if it comes at one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, so be it. You know what I mean? Like, stick it to somebody.
Yeah, like they've made money hand over fist on the backs of their employees all this time with GTA, so online and everything. They can pay. Yeah. Michael says, Liz and I just finished rewatching Suits. It's a good one. Especially up to like season 1 through 5 were like really good seasons.
Yeah. Seems to be the case with a lot of shows. Like Arrow seasons 1 through 5 for the most part were solid, and then after that I was like,
Season 2 of Arrow, man. But an arrow. It is boy. Guys, and you can put an arrow in YouTube's eye by hitting that subscribe button right now and hitting that ring-a-ling-a-ling so you get all the notifications. It helps us out a ton that you watch our shows and support us here. Thank you all that do that. You don't want to miss out on anything. And the podcast is back on podcast services around the globe. So make sure, if you like Apple, go listen to it on Apple. If you like it on Spotify, go listen on Spotify. We've got it here on YouTube Podcasts. Go support the shows, Eat, Sleep, Anime, NerdCave News, and anything else we put out. It's going to be on all the podcast services. So thank you everybody that's supporting us. So if you want to listen to it audio wise, it is available as well on those. That is my goal this year, is to actually hold true, stay steady, you know, don't let the Persians through, you know, like the 300, you know, it's
stay on target.
Yeah, stay on target. We're going to be there, guys. So go support us on all of those places so you don't miss out on anything. But thank you for being here. Next story of the night. Ding dong, the witch is dead. GameStop closes hundreds of more stores, including one of my co-host's former store.
I know, like, I talked about it last week where, it was literally a week ago. They said, all right, January 8th, we're closing this location, which is bittersweet. Like, I don't have any love lost for the company in and of itself, but, I did make a lot of friends there. Like, I worked there for a decade. So met a lot of people, a lot of friendships that I still have outside, since I've been gone to this day. But reading this and then hearing, yeah,
this is by Michael Kripe at IGN. So
got you. Reading this and then like hearing others' opinions about this just makes my blood boil because of what I'll get into it. Reports the gaming and pop culture retailer would soon close stores started to emerge soon after 2026 began. Some shoppers were able to find and share signage warning their location would soon shut down, offering a 20% trade-in bonus for a limited time as compensation. Signs then instruct customers with games or memorabilia reservations to travel to new stores to pick up their purchases. But the sudden nature and wide reports left GameStop buyers with more questions than answers. With reports of what seemed to be dozens of store closures online, a blog that tracks GameStop activity using employee reports and the company's store locator claims to have recorded 390 store closures, which is via Polygon. An additional 10 stores are still in the process of being confirmed to have shut down, which, if accurate, brings the total to 400 shuttered GameStop locations, a little more than 1 week into the year. For the last 10 years, GameStop has closed more stores than it opened in the U.S. Each year, with closures often numbering in the hundreds. Meanwhile, GameStop announced earlier this week that Cohen, who took over as CEO in September of 2023, is up to receive a staggering $35 billion with a B in performance-based stock options. For Cohen to receive the payout, the company's board of directors states GameStop would need to have reached a market capitalization of $100 billion with a B, and before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, achieve $10 billion with a B in cumulative performance. GameStop's market cap currently sits at about $9.5 billion with a B. Quote, the award is designed to incentivize Mr. Cohen to achieve extraordinary growth, the announcement says. And let me just start off by saying, you close 400 stores. Exactly. Thank you. You decide to close 400 stores with a big payout incentive. That's a possibility. Like this is not even a full guarantee. Like this is not like, oh well, we had to shut down we had to shut 400 stores down because they were underperforming. But meanwhile, in the shadows, we're going to slip him 35 billion. Which, by the way, he created Chewy, so he's not hurting for money. So he was just like, oh, I get to make more money or a chance to make more money. Cool. I'll take a chance on that. Spin the wheel, Jives. And like,
hey, he won't even spin it himself. So he's making his butler do this.
Exactly. Though that's just how this article feels. It's like, whatever. It's like, oh, I lay off 400 stores of employees at 400 stores. I bet I get 35 billion on the uptick on the chance I can increase the market value. Why not, right? Just throw a dart in the board, see. And while I do, again, I have no love lost for the company itself, but I don't like that that the employees are suffering job losses because of this. Now, I don't know how, obviously in the past, there's not been a year go by where GameStop is not closing at least a couple hundred stores a year. For underperformances, a lot of them is like locations because like back in the heyday, the hype of GameStop, there was like stores on opposite corners of the road of like a four-way intersection. So it just didn't make sense. So some of that didn't make sense. I get that. But now we're just playing with, we're trying to play with house money and win stupid prizes at this point. So,
yeah.
And it boggles my mind. It's like, it's the chance based on if you raise the, what was the exact terminology? Raise the the market value, the market capitalization, and achieve 10 billion in cumulative performance, which is now sitting at 9.5 billion. It's like, you may not even get that chance to raise it, especially after this has come out. Like, it might just depreciate way out of the realm of possibility. But again, he's already a million / probably a billionaire. What does he care? Like, well, meanwhile, the 400 stores worth of employees are like struggling to find jobs because again, back in the day, you probably got enough of a heads up. It's like, hey man, like y'all have been struggling. Like we're gonna have to probably close your store after in a couple months. Which reading this article makes it seem like these closing of a lot of stores, especially that happened last week, may have been last minute. You know what I mean? Or maybe they were told not to let customers know until the week of or whatever. I don't know. I don't work there anymore. I don't know anyone that works there anymore from my days that I could talk to about it. So I don't know. It really sucks. I hate it. Again, corporate America at its finest. What are your takes on this, Zach?
So I just looked up this Cohen guy. He's worth 4 to 5 billion, net worth and everything. Yeah. So it would be like, that's a big payday for him. Like that would be almost half of what he already has.
But when you already have billions, like, you know what I mean? Like,
but you always want more.
This is not, I mean, obviously, yes. Like
you always want more.
Greed always wants more greed. And I mean, but again, this is not like some guy who's like below minimum wage. Like,
he's not starving.
Hitting the lottery. You know what I mean?
He's not living paycheck to paycheck, or worse than that, where it's like paycheck doesn't even get him through. A day after he gets paid. You know what I mean? But I look at this and it's like, okay, you're artificially making the company seem like it's making more money by closing all of these stores.
Mm-hmm.
People do not go to GameStop like they used to.
Nope.
The only time I go to GameStop is like if I'm in the mall and Amy wants to go somewhere that has like a lot of perfume that gives me a headache. Yeah. And I'll be like, hey, you go look at that. I'm going to go just browse around in GameStop. Yeah. And I go in there and I'm like, why am I even in here?
Right.
It's like,
because it's familiarity, it's nostalgia.
Yeah, it's nostalgia, but it doesn't feel like GameStop anymore.
Swag store.
Yeah, it's a swag store, and it's like I know all the games that are in here. There's nothing worth me even being in here. But you look at this and it's like, okay, we're artificially making it seem like we're making more money by closing all these stores. We've been doing this for years and hasn't seen an uptick. We're doing all of these crazy promotions where you can trade in anything. You can trade in your grandmother that's been taxidermied, it's all of these stupid things. And it's like, it's not really moving the needle. And then Funko is going out of business. And it's like, that was a huge revenue source. And then I know they were doing phone trade-ins for a long time and like really pushing that. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, this is a ship that's going down. The rats are like leaving the ship. Why do you think nobody wants to go be the CEO other than someone that's greedy? Like, there's a reason. And this 35 billion, what if you put that into the company?
An idea. We don't do those here.
You know what I mean? And I agree with you. Like, I remember, like, literally down the road, there were, within a 3-mile radius, 3 GameStops.
Mm-hmm.
3. Now, there's 2 now still, but it was literally like there was one in the mall, and then maybe 1,000 yards was another one.
Wow.
It was just like there's too many of them. So I understand that, but at this point, it's just like closing them to be able to fake that we're making money.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, let's put on the illusion that you could put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
But it's still a pig.
Well, and it goes back to the figures that we were talking about in the Kotick part where it's like physical sales are down. Yeah. It's like people don't buy physical games like they used to. And you see a lot of, like, especially more like smaller games or whatever, they don't even do a physical release until like they show that they've actually made money on the digital side. And it's like most people, it's just way easier. Like, why would I go to the store and buy a game that nowadays you don't even get a disc, you get a code to still download the game?
Yeah. Wild.
It's like it's like, why would I do that? Why would I go through?
Because you want the physical disc cover or whatever.
You want the I can go right over here, to my 3D printer and print whatever I want.
Right.
But like I'm saying, it's like, why would you go to a store and get hounded to, oh, you got to get the scratch resistant upsell thing, and then, hey, do you want a pro membership? Because you used to get 20%. Now we shake you in the parking lot for free.
Now you give us an extra $20 for nothing.
Yeah, we're gonna shake you for that extra $20.
It's like, oh, and you used to get Game Informers, but we killed that. Now they're back and doing their own thing, but we're not, we don't offer anything as a substitute for it.
Yeah, it's like you don't get anything for it, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And it's sad because, like, I remember when EB Games was like around. I loved EB. Like, we had one in the other mall that was here, and it was like EB was like way cooler than GameStop, in my opinion. Like, it was just, I don't know, there was just something about it. And now they're out of business as well. And it's just,
well, there's still, I think, one up in Canada, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. GameStop, just do what you need to do.
Pull the life support plug.
Yeah, it's like go into that dark night. You know what I mean?
Run towards the light.
Yeah,
but it's really Hellflame, because that's where you belong.
You know where you belong, everybody? That is patreon.com/nerdcave. It is time for the Patreon quick hits, because all of our wonderful patrons went over there to patreon.com/nerdcave and supported us. They got a tier that fit their budget, and it helps us out. It helps keep the lights and the mics on, because we're a 1.5 person business. Okay. Takes a lot to make this show run, from Canva subscriptions to all of these other things, to paying for Derek, his things, y'all know?
Yeah.
His hair appointments.
Yeah. I wake up in the morning and just do this.
Derek's high maintenance broad. Y'all don't even know.
I am high maintenance. I won't deny that.
It helps us out a lot. And if you don't have the bucks to toss, that's totally fine. A free membership on Patreon tells Patreon that there are people that are interested in what we're doing here on the Nerd Cave. We've been putting out a ton of awesome anime content right now. We're in a sprint from JJK to My Hero Academia Vigilantes to Spy Family. We're going to be doing Frieren and Gachiakata this weekend. It's going to be fantastic. So go over to patreon.com/nerdcave and support us over there. Become part of the ship, part of the crew, by getting your membership today. Now, for the Patreon quick hits.
And starting off, I alluded to it earlier in the show, the January Xbox Developer Direct is set for next Thursday and will feature Forza Horizon 6, Fable, and Game Freak's Beast of Reincarnation, and at the time of this writing, a secret fourth game, which they've always kind of done, maybe a fifth game, who knows, but we're in for a stacked Developer Direct. I can't wait it's already going to be confirmed. It's probably going to be the thumbnail of next week's show, but we're definitely going to react to all the trailers that we're going to see, if it's actually trailers in the show, because sometimes they do like developer insights, talkaways or whatever. So we'll see, but I can't wait to react to some of the games for next week. Following that, Netflix's The Witcher series is ending this year with season 5. GTA 6 reportedly still not content complete. New Joy-Con 2 colors light purple and light green will launch alongside Mario Tennis Fever next month. Avowed is the next Xbox game to head to PlayStation and will be launching on February 17th. Fable is reportedly also coming to the PlayStation 5. Embark Studios thinks it should do a lot more with trading in Arc Raiders, but players aren't sold. New Life is Strange game has been spotted, and yes, this one will finally bring back Chloe. Crimson Desert features an open world at least twice as big as Skyrim and a larger map than Red Dead Redemption 2, which is crazy to think that it's going to be bigger than either of those two massive games. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance joins the Switch Online GameCube library. Towerborn, the action RPG by the makers of the Banner Saga, is launching out of early access on February 26th. Games Workshop announces plans to build a new Warhammer world in the US. Games Workshop bans its staff from using AI in its content or designs and says none of its senior managers are currently excited about the tech. Good job standing your ground, guys. The Sims dev teases next evolution of single player on PC and console as Project Renee is committed to mobile only. Larian confirms Divinity will have co-op at launch. Baldur's Gate 3 won't be ported to the Switch 2, though Larian would have loved it to be. Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation 5 has reportedly sold over 5 million copies. That's a lot of fives. The Division Definitive Edition ad reportedly spotted in Japan during a Ubisoft event. Stellar Blade dev Shift Up has gifted its staff a cash bonus and Apple products. Guys, like, if you're looking to cut your teeth in the industry, if for nothing else, just based on the fact that it actually treats its employees like humans, go work at Shift Up. Just saying. However, all that goodwill, boss of Shift Up says it needs to use AI to compete with overwhelming manpower of China and U.S. studios. I know you got the good with the bad, but hey, at least it's not laying off its employees and treating them like just like a number. Persona's next chapter is mentioned on the series' 30th anniversary site. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC Daima Adventure Through the Demon Realm Part 2 is out today. Peter Molyneux's final game, Masters of Albion, gets an April 22nd release. BioWare has officially pulled the plug on live service failure Anthem. Hytale isn't even out yet, and it's already made enough money to cover the next 2 years of development costs, which is insane. Ubisoft Dev says The Division 3 will have as big an impact as The Division 1. Ubisoft layoffs continue with 55 staff at Massive and Ubisoft Stockholm now impacted as part of a restructure. Deadpool officially joins Marvel Rivals Season 6 as a duelist and a strategist and a vanguard. Reminds me of Mick Foley, where he had the Cactus Jack, the Dude Love, and the Mankind personas, and they all came out during the Royal Rumble, the same Royal Rumble. That's what came to my mind. Former Xbox comms director Major Nelson Herb says he's been laid off by Unity. Womp womp. Hopefully he lands on his feet. Come back, Xbox. That's when Xbox was great, was when he was giving you the news every week. Battlefield 6 Season 2 has been delayed to February 17th as EA tackles community feedback with an extended Season 1. New Hellblade, that's more of a game, reportedly in the works, while Ninja Theory is no longer working on Project Mara. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake has been rated by the ESRB, suggesting a release isn't far off. Echo the Dolphin set for a major comeback as several new products and games are in development. Eidos Montreal reportedly working on an unannounced quadruple A project using Unreal Engine 5. And that's going to go over well because the last studio that worked on a quadruple A game got closed. The game just didn't get canceled. This whole studio just got shut down. So let's not tout quadruple A. Let's just work on making a great game. Helldivers 2 unleashes the Redacted Regiment Warbond on January 20th. Animal Crossing New Horizons Update 3.0 is now live. Meta closes Twisted Pixel, Sanzaru Games, and Armature Studios. And lastly, in a major one, Ryan Hurst, who was the voice actor of Thor in God of War Ragnarok, has been cast as Kratos in the live-action God of War TV show.
I was kind of surprised.
I was too, because I forgot he voiced Thor because I know him as Beta from The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. So good actor, like really, like he's solid. Yeah. I know he's got the height and probably the build of Kratos, but I don't know if he can emulate because knowing that he was, and I get like they went into the well of the video game, but you had another person in the video game realm who's also done live action TV shows. And that
has the physical
stature. And the voice. And that's Christopher Judge. It's just like, I mean, you're going to put paint all over them anyway. I mean, it's not like it's going to be an inaccurate Kratos, but I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of torn because while I do because he's a solid actor, when he speaks, all I'm gonna when I hear boy, I'm only gonna hear Thor's voice. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. Let me watch the first trailer, but I will say my boy Chris Judge got done wrong.
Yeah, but there's also no telling if he actually wanted it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
There's been articles saying that he wants to do it, but again, it's like, does he really want to put in the physical work? Because I know he had a work-related accident, in between when God of War 2018 ended and them going into production for Ragnarok. So it's like, does he want to risk that? And like, because we don't know, I forget the severity of the injury he had.
Like, I want to say he broke his back.
Oh, that's what. So I don't know if he can physically do the demanding things that show will probably ask of him.
Yeah, so it's like, do I want Christopher Judd to be on there? Of course, I would have loved that.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think like his portrayal as Thor was amazing, and I think he can bring the chops to what
for sure.
Kratos is now, and not just yelly guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
and they did do in Last of Us. I haven't watched season 2 yet, but I know in season 1 they did bring Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson into the show as like the other side characters. They need to at the very least bring in Christopher Judge as like a cameo appearance in the show, if nothing else. And he needs to just like if he's talking, he's like, boy, just like say, just figure out how to just figure out,
get it in there.
Yeah, like when he's interacting with Atreus, just say, boy.
That's what I want. That's what I need. That's what I need.
That's all we need.
So many good things, hopefully, is down the road here for this show. And only time will tell, though. But we'll be back next week with more awesome video game news coverage. We'll have awesome anime recaps that we're going to be doing for Freerun and the whole season of Gachiakata. It's going to be awesome. Derek and I are eating good over here. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow is Freerun Day, so I'm excited for that. JJK is popping. My Hero Academia Vigilante season 2's popping. We got a lot of good stuff going on, y'all. So don't miss out on any of that. We're starting to get closer to the end of season 3 of Spy Family. So that's all good stuff. So make sure to check out all of that. Check out our So Far on Spy Family. We put that out yesterday. Got a lot of great stuff. We'll be live Tuesday playing possibly Expedition 33. I do have a indie game that I got that we might play a little bit of before we jump into Expedition 33. So come and join us then, guys. It's going to be a fantastic time. And make sure to come back next week. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.